Come tonight, we alright. I feel the vibe. What's up, guys? It's Lim Talk Sports here. Glad to be talking to you guys. We're gonna get into some college basketball, man. I'm just gonna kind of like touch on the past tournaments that happened over Thanksgiving break in the Maui Invitational and then the Battle for Atlantis. Both great tournaments, great teams in those tournaments, great games, man. And I'm just gonna kind of go over what I seen in these tournaments and what I think about some of the teams in these tournaments and what I drew from what I watched, regards to both tournaments. So first, I want to touch on the Maui Invitational. Auburn came out on top in that tournament as they beat Memphis in the championship game. So Auburn, first place in that tournament, Memphis second place, Michigan State third place, then North Carolina fourth place. And obviously all those teams are good teams. Then the rest of the teams, we had UConn, we had Iowa State, you had Dayton, you had Colorado. Who else do we have? Yeah, it's pretty much all the teams that were in that tournament. I do want to touch on one game in that tournament, and that was the UConn versus Memphis game. That might have been a game of the tournament, but it's just the way Memphis team came out in that game was just aggressive. I think from what I seen in that game, they played defense really well, which led them to have a 13-point lead over UConn in that game. But UConn, being the team that they are, they persevered and they sent the game into overtime with solo balls 3. But they still came up short. And Tyrese Hunter he was grilling them, man. I'm not gonna lie, he was grilling them. PJ Haggerty was hooping too. He was doing his thing. So and just also just UConn taking 3 losses in that tournament kind of stunned me. I think it stunned a lot of people, if I'm being honest, because first they lose to Memphis, then they lose to Colorado, then they lose to Dayton. So 3 losses in that tournament for UConn, which is it's surprising to me, but I don't think these losses are gonna define them. I think they bounce back. I think Dan Hurley knows that they took 3 losses, and I think he knows how to bounce back from things like that. And I think moving forward, he's not going to let these losses define them or let these losses affect them. I think he's going to lead his team to move forward and to win the games that they need to win throughout the rest of the season. Because it's still early in the season, they're about 8-9 games in, so I think they'll use these losses as fuel and win a lot of games throughout the season. So I see that happening for UConn. Michigan State, I haven't really watched too much of them, but I know their point guard is Jeremy Fears, and they have Jaden Akins, who's really good. And I think Michigan State, like I said, I haven't watched them a lot, but I think they have a decent year. We'll see how their year goes for them. Auburn, obviously, they won the tournament. I think for Auburn, Johnny Broome has been really well. They have Tahad Pettiford. They have Miles Kelly. So Auburn has a really good team. So we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. Memphis has a good team. Tyrese Hunter has been amazing so far. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Memphis season plays out. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Maui Invitational. So we're gonna move on to the Battle for Atlantis. So the Battle for Atlantis tournament was a great tournament. Had a lot of good teams in there. Oklahoma came out with the win throughout the whole tournament. They won the whole tournament, and Oklahoma was very surprising to me, but not too surprising because they have Jeremiah Fears, who I'm very high on. I've been high on him since he was a sophomore going into the junior year in high school. He's a really good player. I remember watching a documentary from Mike Hicks Jr. Shout out to Mike Hicks Jr. He did a documentary on Jeremy Fears, who's at Michigan State, who I just mentioned. He was doing a documentary on him, and then I seen a clip in the documentary with him working out with Jeremiah. And I'm looking at Jeremiah. I'm like, oh, this guy is good. Like this young kid is good. So I was like, yeah, he's nice. Like he got it. That's what I thought. I was like, oh yeah, he's special. He's special. So then him going on to Arizona campus and then becoming nationally ranked. I mean, I seen it all along, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But I didn't know he reclassed to 2024 until maybe August, and I didn't know how he was gonna do going into Oklahoma with him being reclassified to 2024. But he's doing a great job so far, man. He's averaging in the tournament. He averaged 18.6 points a game, and I think moving forward throughout the rest of the season, Jeremiah is going to continue to progress. He's going to continue to learn things that he needs to learn. And I think Oklahoma has a good year this season. I think this tournament, winning this tournament, gives them confidence going into the season. I think Oklahoma's going to have a great rest of the year. Obviously, they're in the SEC now, so they're going to play really good teams. But I think Oklahoma will be good. Obviously, Jalen Moore for Oklahoma was tremendous as well. He averaged 18 points in the tournament. So Jalen Moore, he can stretch the floor, and he's very aggressive on the offensive side of the ball. So I think this tournament win for Oklahoma boosts them for the rest of the season. So shout out to Oklahoma. And another thing I want to point out from the Battle for Atlantis tournament was Louisville's team. Oklahoma beat Louisville in the championship game, but Louisville has something there. Louisville has something there. They definitely they were getting a lot of offensive rebounds in that game, though they lost. They were getting a lot of offensive rebounds. They're big. I think they have a tall team. So they were crashing the glass heavy, and I think there'll be a problem for teams. There'll be a problem for teams moving forward in their season. I think just the way that they play, even though their 3-point percentage is not great, but I still think they have upside. Going to as the season progresses, I think they'll be good. It's just the way that they're rebounding, the way they play hard too. So I can see Louisville being a tough team to beat throughout this season. And yeah, man. I mean, both of those tournaments were good so far. Obviously, Gonzaga was in the tournament. Arizona was in the tournament. I think they have good teams, and I think they'll have good seasons as well. But yeah, I think both of those tournaments were good. They're definitely good games in both of those tournaments, and I think these tournaments, both of these tournaments, help the teams see where they're at, see what they need to work on, see what they need to improve on, and moving forward, I think it's great for all the teams in the tournament to see how they're going to move forward as the season progresses. So college basketball has gone off to a great start this season. I'm very excited to see the rest of the games and see the matchups, and obviously conference play in the multiple conferences there are at the Division I level. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see how the rest of the season plays out and see how teams are looking come March. And yeah, man, I'm ready, man. I'm hyped for this season, for the rest of the season. So yeah, but I'm just recapping my thoughts on the Maui Invitational and Battle for Atlantis, and what I thought and what I drew from those tournaments and those games. So thank you for watching this video. Moving forward, I'm gonna try to do longer segments talking about more topics going on in basketball and football, from the collegiate level, high school level, professional level, things like that. So let me know what you guys think. I think college basketball is great, man. I think it's gonna be a great season for college basketball. So yeah, this is Lim Talk Sports, man. If you made it this far, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one, man. Peace.
Come tonight, we are